school and college students, many of whom did not vote, they are continuing to skip class to protest President-elect Donald Trump's fair election across the country. My next guest says the only thing that will stop the student protesters is Thanksgiving break itself. Of course, that's true. But what if they bring the protests to the Thanksgiving dinner table? He's the author of Your Kids Are Your Own Fault. He's Larry Winget. He's got some advice on how to deal with your student protesters over the Thanksgiving break. Always good to have you, Larry. So they're coming home for Thanksgiving. What do you think parents should do?
Well, I think parents need to remember that, one, their kids are their own fault, but two, Trump will come and go, Hillary will come and go, but family is forever. So don't let this divide your family for a long, long time. The way you do that is to try to model the behavior that we need to see a whole lot more of in our country, which is teaching our children how to be disagreeable but still be respectful. We have way too much disrespect for the ideas and opinions of other people. And we also need to teach our kids that there is a process to all grieving. It starts with shock, goes to disbelief, and then we move to anger, and at some point you have to have acceptance. We need to remind these kids that, you know, their mama didn't die, their dog didn't even die. It was an election. Get over it. Learn to accept it. If you don't like the results, then do something about it next time when you do vote.
You do positive things to help the country, right? So, but you've also said that parents must hold themselves accountable. What do you mean?
Well, I do believe that parents have to understand that they taught their kids that somehow this was acceptable behavior. And they probably, as parents, didn't impose consequences when they saw behavior they didn't approve of. Now, if your kid comes home and you find out they're skipping class, what you have to do is remind your child that you're probably paying for them to go to school. And going to school and attending class is their job. And because you're paying for it, you have the expectation they will be going to class regardless of how they feel politically. We have to understand we don't always get our way, and we don't get to not show up for work just because we don't get our way. You got to teach your kids that there will be a consequence if they treat going to class like they get to skip it just because they didn't get their way.
You know, Larry, on a separate topic, we now have, we have sanctuary cities. We now have this growing movement towards sanctuary college campuses. We have the president of Rutgers University in New Jersey. He said in a message to students that the university campus police department is not going to check students' immigration status, and he's petitioning Rutgers to be a sanctuary campus. What do you make of this trend, quickly?
I think it's a horrible idea. I think the whole idea of sanctuary, anything, is a horrible idea.
Okay.
We are Americans first. We're citizens first. We're students and the rest second.
All right, Larry Winget, thank you so much for your time. Next up, we have a judge just blocking